How about now?
Oh, loud and clear.
We're just gonna have to go without the earbuds.
Hey, it sounds good, man. It sounds good right now.
Okay, I set it to the earbud microphone, and it still wouldn't work, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So I've never been able to get my earbuds to hook up to my computer right. I don't know why. I'm not very smart though.
Yeah, I feel you. This whole like this video chat stuff is definitely new to me. I started doing a couple like last week, and I did another one yesterday. They've all been Zoom, but very much similar.
Does that record? When you do Zoom, does it record?
There's a record function, but I haven't messed with it yet.
Okay, so see, I'm the... Dude, aren't you lucky? You have coffee.
Yeah, you should have coffee.
I did have coffee a few minutes ago. I did. We'll probably start over again here in a minute, but we'll just chat for a second.
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, because it was kind of a rough start, and we'll see. I don't know how much editing we're going to have to do. So Jordan and I did one this morning. I sent you a link to it. You're way more clear than what he was, because if you watch it, he's kind of blurry sometimes. You're much more clear on your end. He just has crap internet, I think.
I'm actually using my iPhone for a hotspot because my internet is absolutely awful here.
Yeah. Sweet office, though.
You like?
I do. See, I need more of that kind of stuff in the background.
Yeah, actually, you've got your world map, and I've got the United States.
Yeah, there you go. So that one's fun. It's kind of got a glare on it, though, sometimes. I want one of those scratch-off ones. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Those are cool, man. And so we have a bunch of dots on that wherever we've been, and I keep telling my wife we need to just get a scratch-off one and start scratching them off. But whatever, that's certainly at the bottom end of wants and needs, that's for sure.
Yeah, no joke.
Okay.
It still looks good.
Yeah, I need a big...
I like the dots, the pins anyway. I've actually got a bunch of tacks in that one over there.
Uh-huh.
So I guess like the last time the oil field crashed and burned, I started doing a bunch of woodwork, and I started building, I don't have any in here, but I started building, like American flags about yay big out of wood.
Yeah.
And now they're like really popular. And they weren't like a thing when I started, and I don't think I started the trend. I just think people started thinking, I guess, similar, trying to find ways to make money. And so I've got tax in there for everywhere I've sent them in the country, and I have, I think I'm in like 14 states.
Nice.
But then I did that, and it kind of stopped me from doing woodwork.
Is that a pronghorn behind you there?
Yeah, that's the last antelope buck I shot. It's probably been, 8 or 9 years ago.
Cool.
That was the last time I chased one with a rifle.
Nice. Yeah, so this is my little podcast room, and then I have a reload room that's on the other side of the hallway there. That one's trashed. That one's all gear. It's not even a reload room anymore. Like, it's just sort of been taken over by hunting gear. But I have a buffalo head in that one and a Aoudad sheep head. But I need to put them in here because I think they'd be cool back there. Either way.
Absolutely.
Either way. Well, I think we just roll into it, dude. We've already been having some good conversation. I don't need coffee that bad. Let's just jump into it. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm ready. Wide open.
Wide open. All right. So Andrew Schubert from Dark Mountain Supplements. Welcome to the podcast. Different kind of podcast, though. So welcome to one of the first YouTube podcasts that we're doing.
Glad to be here. Glad to be part of the beta testing.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, like we talked about before, when this records, I can separate it later to audio files. So if this video thing doesn't work, we'll always have audio file. So if you're watching this right now, then it worked. And we're good to go if people are watching it. If you're not and you're listening to it, the video sucks. And we're not going to do that anymore. But anyway, Dark Mountain Supplements. What is it? How'd you get involved with it? Let's talk about that for a little bit. And then we're just going to talk about life and hunting and BS session.
Absolutely. Around, I guess when I was about 30, I decided it was probably a good time to get back into the fitness game. I kind of took, we'll call it a hiatus for, most of my adult life. After after high school, I just kind of went with the flow. I got into the oil field on my 19th birthday was when I first started. So I was doing that for probably 11 years before I decided I needed to get back in the gym. So I started working out again. I started playing around with different supplements. I was playing with the really cheap ones, the C4s and the Walmart stuff. And then, those didn't work for me. That's more of a methamphetamine type pre-workout. Mm-hmm. They just tear your guts up. So I started kind of exploring, looking for new stuff. I guess around that time I kind of got on Instagram and I was seeing some different companies out there, and I actually started using, I guess I can call them the competition for us now. I never had an issue with their supplements. I like their stuff. And I used them for a little while, and then I stumbled across Dark Mountain. I wasn't really brand loyal at that point, so I stumbled across Dark Mountain on Instagram, and they have the Montana ties. So I started using their product, and I started using it a lot. And I've been using it ever since. This was, we're probably coming up on 2.5, 3 years ago, I found Dark Mountain. So almost a year ago now, I think it was a year ago in May, I was visiting with one of the owners of Dark Mountain, Christian. I'd become pretty close with both the owners, like talking to them on at least a weekly basis about developments and different ideas. And he told me that there was going to be an opportunity for an ownership position opening up. So I didn't have any details. I just told him I'm interested. Give me a proposal and let me know what you're thinking. And when he came back, it was a couple days later. It kind of blew my mind, like the direction it had gone. But it was two brother-in-laws, Christian and Dan. And Dan decided that he wanted to take a different route with his life and just wanted to make an exit. So I bought Dan's half of the company. I've been, for the last 15 years, blessed with a well-paying job that allowed me the opportunity to just jump right into this head first. And I bought Dan's portion. And fast forward to now, I've been obviously deeply involved with the company for the last about 10 months.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I didn't realize that Dark Mountain had only been around a few years. I thought it had been around for quite some time now. So that's pretty cool. Short-lived, and then you've jumped into it, and it seems like, from what I see of it, right? I mean, we're kind of involved, right? We got our discount code. You and I talk pretty frequently, and then we've got some mutual friends that are very involved in Dark Mountain and promoting Dark Mountain. So I see it looks like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day, and that's awesome.
It's great. There's a steady growth, and I guess I talked about being blessed with this oil job for the last 15 years. You and I have talked about it, but I've recently left that due to market conditions in the oil field. And I guess just looking at it as seeing that I got laid off could be a really negative thing. But for me, my wife and I have been smart with money, and we're not going to go tits up, if you will. And it's going to give me a lot of time to continue to help the company grow. So I think it's really a blessing in disguise that I'm at the house now, and I will be able to put 100% of my focus on the company, which is just going to help continue to bring the growth up.
That wasn't a COVID sneeze, was it?
No, just a little cough. Just
all right, good.
Work out, so I got a little bit of the lung burn going on still.
All right, good. No COVID there. Yeah.
No, there's the odds of me getting COVID in Montana are astronomically low right now. So
you know what, man? I think it's astronomically low for a lot of people to catch it. To be honest with you, but that's it. To me, I think my wife is worried sick about COVID and not worried sick, but when it really was taken off, she was into the news every day and watching it very, very thorough. she was into it really big, and I would look at it and just kind of be like, yeah, well, whatever, it's just another thing. And I still kind of feel that way. I go out and I go to the store and I go do all kinds of stuff. But now they've made it mandatory here in Texas that if you're going to go out into a public, you have to have a mask on. And if you don't, it's potentially a $1,000 fine without a mask.
So what are you using for a mask? Do you just dig out a pair of underwear? Or
no way, man. I use my Sitka gaiter, my neck gaiter. Oh. My Sitka gaiter. I had some medical masks that, oddly enough, my wife and I were planning a vacation to Canada when all of this stuff kicked off, and we just kind of saw things happening, and we grabbed a bunch from the military base. We were over there one day at the hospital, and we grabbed a bunch of masks, and we've used those. So now I just grab that gaiter and put it on. Support Sitka all the way.
Yeah, there. So I have a lot of mixed thoughts about this this pandemic we have going on here. I don't. It's so. I don't think anybody knows what's actually going on, including the professionals. I mean, when it first started, it was wash your hands.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's something we should be doing anyway, right? And
yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I started washing my hands a little bit more frequently than every time I use the restroom or go do something outside or whatever. I started washing my hands maybe every time I just happen to walk by the sink. I just wash my hands, not for 20 seconds, but give them a quick wash or use hand sanitizer a little more often. With the oil work, I was around when this all kicked off. I was still exposed to somewhere in the neighborhood of 26 to 50 people from pretty all around the country. So you never know what each person's been exposed to at that point. Mm-hmm. So I was taking the social distancing as serious as I could out there without it really affecting my performance.
Right. And you guys have it kind of weird there too, because everybody comes out for 2 weeks and in there, or whatever the duration is, and then everybody's gone and they're going off 7 different directions, and then they all come back together. So there's potential there for a pretty extreme amount of exposure.
There is, and when somebody gets the flu out there, it's like everybody out there gets the flu. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if something did come to the rig, it could be a big deal. There's been instances that I've seen firsthand where somebody will get staph infection. Mm-hmm. And then it's a huge deal. You need to start getting everybody out of the bunkhouse they're in and basically replace all the furniture in there and do a deep clean. And otherwise that could be a really bad deal. But this, like I said, I just have so many mixed thoughts about this. And like you said, right now you're required to wear a face mask, and anything will do. So I can walk around with, my shirt up, and that works as a face mask. When this first started, they said very specifically that the, N95, the medical grade mask?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Something like that.
So they said that those masks, there's no point in the general public wearing those masks. None at all. You shouldn't wear a mask. And that's the one that is medical grade and I probably get the numbers wrong, but that's the one that's medical grade that all the professionals are wearing. And now we've made the full circle to where you can wear a cloth mask, where you need to wear a cloth mask when in the beginning a medical grade mask was no good for you, that you just needed to wash your hands. So I just feel like they're running in circles here, and I don't. Did you watch the video yesterday? The Trump administration put out about how they want to start reopening the country.
So I yes and no. It was on here at the house, and I was doing some other things, and I browsed through, and I pretty much caught the part where he's turning it over to the states and letting the states run it. So I'm expecting down here in Texas, we have Governor Greg Abbott, who's kick-ass. And I'm expecting him to do something in the next, probably today, to talk about how they're going to reopen.
Yeah, it would be nice to at least get some feedback. Our governor, I'm not going to voice my opinion on my governor, but I feel like a lot of these governors are kind of competing with each other. I know it's like a big election year for governors and for Senate. And ours, specifically our governor, Bullock, is running for a seat in Senate. That's his next step.
Mm-hmm.
He actually was in the Democrat Party. He was trying to run for president for the Democrat nominee here until recently. He dropped out. But Senate's like the next step for him is what he's aiming for. And I feel like a lot of these guys that are up for either re-election or for the next big thing are trying to like outdo each other with the safety protocol. Like,
I get the same
right
feeling.
now, like, I'm not gonna lie, Montana, by the numbers, he could run with that and say that his leadership has made Montana, like, I think we're third or fourth best in the nation for cases and deaths per capita. Like, we're doing pretty good. And we just had, and I don't want to like make it sound like it's not a big deal, but we've only had 7 deaths. We have a population of 1 million, and we've had like a grand total of like 60 people in the hospital. And they say that we've already hit the peak, and now we're at the flat part of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious. I haven't heard anything from the governor after the video, so I'm really hoping that they expedite that and we get to the point where we can kind of see what's going to happen, because Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming, I believe, and these are all highlights I got third party. I didn't watch the video, but my good friend Jason told me what he watched on the video. And he said Montana was brought up multiple times as being one of the states that should be able to immediately move into phase 1 where we can get back to starting to revive the economy. And
that's good. Maybe your governor just like dropped the mic and walked away and was like, I nailed it. I don't need to do anything else.
I just really hope that we get to see like what the plan forward is here pretty soon. Now, like I'm the king of social distancing. I have no issue with it. I mean, if you walk out,
enjoying that.
We've got 20 acres, and then we've just got like the forest around us. Then just about 40, 50 yards down the hill, we've got public land there. We've got the lake, and then across the lake, we've got more public land. So I'm really good at social distancing by nature, but I hate to see like there's going to be a lot of local businesses, small businesses that are never going to recover.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
That's what I want to see, like, get revived. Even people that I'm not giving money to, like, it's just a shame to see people that put their entire, like, all their work, all their energy into something, and there's a really good chance that a lot of them, if not, like, most of them, are never going to recover.
Yeah, it's tough. Hopefully some of this stimulus helps, but I'm afraid. So I think what's going to happen with the stimulus is that people are just going to use it to replenish their bank account that's gone in debt and that's what we're kind of seeing here is people that are getting it, they're not able to go spend it because they're 2 months already behind on electric bill, and they're using it to pay that electric bill to survive. So it's more of a survival than a stimulus. I'm going to use it for stimulus. I'm going to go buy something. I don't know what yet, but something's going to get bought.
That's right. Like, one good thing that's come out of this Corona thing, I think, is like the memes.
Yeah, definitely. There's some really good ones.
Some of them are tasteless. Some of them definitely cross the line and are really tasteless. But there's been a lot of good memes, a lot of entertainment. It's just because everybody's sitting on a computer doing nothing. They have nothing better to do with their time than to try to create some kind of entertainment. But the entertainment that's come out of this, a lot of it's been real top notch. So like I've had a lot of laughs looking at what people are coming up with these days.
Yeah, I posted yesterday. I was bored in the morning, and I had my hair's getting pretty long, and I had just whatever. I let it go wild. It was, should I cut it or should I not? And believe it or not, overwhelmingly, people said no way, don't do it. So I'm just going to let this rip for the next month and see what happens.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
We're getting there.
You just need a bunch of gel in it to make it go crazy. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. Yeah, I will see what happens. What else has been going on?
Well, we got the home gym set up, so there's a plus there. My wife and I have been using that, on a daily basis, and it's not fantastic. It's one stall of our garage, but it's enough that we can do better than maintain with that. So like I would think without equipment I could probably maybe almost maintain without a gym, just doing body weight stuff. And we had really adapted before I got the home gym set up with like the sandbags, the weighted vest, and then just body weight stuff. We had adapted to that, and it was fun, but I felt like maybe maintaining it best. So with the home gym set up, we're able to still keep it next level as far as the workouts go. Other than that, we've got the homeschooling going on. It's difficult. My wife's really stepped it up. She's furloughed, if you will. She's a dental hygienist, so that's really not. If there's any hazard, that's a job that's going to have a lot of hazard as far as getting crap out of people's mouths up in the air and all over the office. So that's I would consider that definitely a high risk job when it comes to virus or you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. That's a job I respect no matter what, man. I have always thought that, like, gosh, I can't imagine people take, like, I just always know when people are inside my mouth, they're probably like, Jesus, man, what does he eat? What's this guy do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, just looking at you, you have a pretty nice looking mouth.
Oh, well, thank you. I've worked many years to get a mouth like this.
Just imagine, somebody with 2 teeth and calculus everywhere, and that's still stuff that they dive into without any discrimination.
Yeah, there you go. Well stated. Well put. Yeah, you were talking about that home gym, man. I was going to bring up Steve Morgado, Backcountry Portuguese. God, that dude is crushing it, man.
Yeah, he's an animal. Absolute animal.
He posted some stuff today, which by the time this goes out, it'll be a week or so ago, but he's just smashing it. Everything he does is awesome.
Yeah, he's a very adaptive athlete. He's got, so when he's out in the field, he works a rotation of some sorts. I'm not sure exactly what his days out there are, but so they've got themselves a little gym out there, kind of a home gym type setup, and so he's got some equipment out there. But yeah, like on a regular day-to-day basis, anything he can use. Like I've seen some of the videos he's posted where he's at a park using the bars at the park or whatever. And he's always got that weighted vest on. So yeah, he's a beast. And his wife as well. She's always doing some kind of a crazy home workout.
Yeah, they're both pretty much studs for sure. Yeah, we've got that podcast coming out with Steve pretty soon, and that one's fun. I actually had a blast recording that. What a story! I'm not gonna give away any. Just look for the Steve Morgado podcast coming up. Everybody that's watching and listening will really enjoy it. It's a bizarre hunting story for sure.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I sent it to him yesterday as a just kind of a, hey man, listen to it if you want. And I think he liked it. I usually send out all the podcasts to a couple of people ahead of time just for make sure I didn't say something stupid that I'm going to get in trouble for or whatever. And his came back with pretty good remarks already, so we're excited about it. But,
yeah.
Anyway, right on, man. Well, what else? Anything else you want to chat about?
Oh, heck, I'm a gear guy. I'm an outdoors guy. I'm down to really talk about anything, but
so let's talk about this. You got all this public land right outside, so I'm coming to stay at your house this year for hunting. It sounds like.
Yeah, I do hunt nearby. We've got some really good spots for elk within a half hour, just to the west there. There's a lot of national forest. The majority of the stuff I hunt, I'd say 99% of the stuff I hunt is either public land or public access. There's a lot of private land in Montana that's enrolled in the block management program where they allow people to hunt on it, and they basically get reimbursed by the state to allow access. So it opens up a ton of private land to public access. So that's 99% of the stuff we hunt is that style. I have there's one ranch that I hunt from time to time, but usually I hunt the public land around the ranch. And that's private. That's not a public access ranch. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's great. For the most part, I don't see people. There are the occasions where I do run into people, but it seems like once you only got to go maybe a mile. And I know, like, You'll hear that in the Elk 101 and stuff like that. If you just put a little bit of work in, you'll get away from the people. And I think they say 2 miles on Elk 101, but I think realistically, 70% of the people will stay within a mile of the truck.
Yeah.
And once you get out past that, you're getting around other diehards and other people that really want to hunt. If you do that 2 miles, you're probably going to be the only one out there, which is real good because I like to get in there quite a ways.
Yeah. Well, that's a good topic to talk about too, because you had a really fun elk hunt 2019, right? This past season.
Right. Yeah, and that was kind of a last ditch effort. I hunted a lot this year. We traveled and we went to a unit on the other side of the state. We did 8 days over there, and it's for any non-res that's looked at Montana, they've looked at the breaks. That's the best draw odds for a limited draw elk tag. The breaks, it doesn't even look like Montana, right? Like here at my house, it's in the western half of the state. It's all like big mountains. There's snow-capped mountains. There's like the big alpine lakes and ponds and streams and rivers and trees everywhere. And it's just like what you think when you think of Montana. Like I know that's the picture I have painted for Montana because I grew up in the western half of the state. But the breaks, it's like prairie, rolling hills, some really nasty bluffs, and it's sagebrush, and there's some sparse timber over there, but the elk over there, there's some good elk over there, and it's wide open country, so it's nothing like what I'm used to for elk hunting. So we spent 8 days over there during archery season, and we got on some nice bulls, some big bulls, but it rained. And when it rains over there, it's a pretty serious situation. Either you're gonna wait it out, or you're gonna tear everything you have up trying to get out. It's just a gumbo mess, and there's nothing quite like the Missouri River gumbo. It's I hit some next level stuff. I almost blew my truck up getting out from our first campsite. We didn't want to leave, but we didn't want to get stuck there. If we would have stayed there, we'd have been there for weeks. So once it started raining, we pulled camp and went to an area that's got a slightly better road that you can at least get in and out with chains without a whole lot of problems. But we were unable to fill any tags there, and that was just due to mistakes made. Lessons learned. I was on a couple really big bulls, and I had a shot opportunity on one, and I screwed it up. I didn't take the shot, not because I didn't want to, but I just messed up. I spooked him. He ran off, and then the night before that, we had actually called in a really nice bull, and right when he was walking out in front of me, I mean, that's picture perfect. He's walking out in front of me. Then the wind hit me in the back of the neck, and then he was gone. That was two really close calls, and then my wife got a shot out of mule deer, and her bow malfunctioned, and it made the arrow take a quick dive. So we all had opportunity. We just had some silly mistakes and malfunctions happen. But where we did get an elk was later in the season during rifle, and that was just with my son. Him and I went out. It had just snowed the night before. I had been tipped off by a buddy to go check out this block management unit, private land, public access, and a spike bull unit. And he had shot a spike in there like 2 weeks prior and said he saw like 300 head of elk. So my son's young enough. The youth, they qualify for spikes and cows. They can shoot a cow with their bull tag, and I can't. Mm-hmm. So he's got being a youth, he's got a killer tag in his pocket. So we went out. It snowed the night before. It was calm that morning, and it was cold. It was between like 10 below and 0. That's just where the temperature hovered all day. It was cold. And we hiked in. I'd never been in there. I just got on Onyx, and I found what looked like a good spot to glass. So we just took off in the dark, looking at Onyx, and we climbed this mountain and got up there and glassed, and there was absolutely nothing. There was no tracks, there was no elk, there was no deer, there was nothing moving. And so, immediately we get kind of discouraged that we're out there in this blistering cold and not seeing anything. Well, there's a highway that goes right next to this unit, and that's actually what we had parked on to hike in there. And so I was glassing across the highway, and way the hell up on this mountain, I finally glassed up some elk, and they were probably 4 miles away from where we were, maybe 3 miles. And that was the only elk I could find. So I couldn't tell what they were because they were so far away. I could just see little brown dots through my binos walking on this ridge line, and then they all bedded down right on the top. So that's, again, I got the Onyx out, and I was actually able to put a waypoint right where the elk were, and we planned our entire stock off that. So we hiked back out, went to the truck, and I asked him, I said, do you want to go up after those elk? And, he's 12, he's got lots of energy, and he's, well, yeah, I do. And we got back to the truck, and we just drove down the road to knock about a mile off the hike, and we parked pretty well below where the elk were, and then hiked up, and it was steep, really nasty steep, and there's about a foot to a foot and a half of snow, depending on the elevation, and we hiked up that mountain. I had the phone out looking at Onyx the whole time, and I had picked, just based off topography, like the spot we were going to climb up and shoot the elk from. And we used the topography to our advantage. Like, you could not see the elk could not see us, and the wind was actually blowing the right direction the entire time. So we stayed just one drainage over, hiked all the way up, and then we belly crawled up to that spot that I saw on Onyx that we were going to shoot the elk from. Well, we got up there and we couldn't see the elk. And so we crawled back and then hiked down a little farther, and they were still bedded there, and we got down, and the only thing that we could hide behind was a piece of sagebrush. Well, that was good for me, and then he was crawling down behind me, and finally the elk started catching on that there was something wrong. Mm-hmm. We were 75 yards away, like we had gotten in real close. And so he's trying to load a shell, and his bolt is packed full of snow. And we've just been crawling. Mm-hmm. So he's back there jiggling around and just making more noise, and the elk stand up, and I figured, well, I better see if this unit was a brow-tine bull unit only, so I couldn't shoot spikes. So I'm trying to see if there's a bull in there while he's messing with his rifle, and all I can find is spikes and cows, and I can't shoot either.
Yeah, right, of course.
Yeah, so these elk, they get up and they run, and he finally gets a shell jacked in, and they stop right in front of us. They're like 50 yards, and they're all broadside, but they're on the skyline. So he's getting ready to figure out which elk he's going to take, and this is a good learning opportunity, to tell him, hey, you can't shoot those elk. They're on the skyline. Mm-hmm. And so we stopped there, and the elk, they trotted off. They weren't super spooked. They had trotted off. So we decided we'd just follow their tracks and see if maybe they'd stop. A lot of times those elk, they'll go over one ridge line and stop. Well, we followed their tracks, and they definitely didn't stop right over that ridge line. We got to where they jumped the fence and went a little bit farther, and then we came right on top of those elk again, and they had gone down into this nasty chute where it was on the wrong side of the mountain to get them back to the truck, and it was nasty. But they were all standing there, so I told him, I was like, get up there, there's a rock right there. He jumped up on a rock, and I said, you need to shoot the lead cow, because he can't shoot spikes either. All he could shoot was a cow. And so he got his rifle up, and I said, it's the one in the front. And as soon as I said that, he pulled the trigger. I mean, it just about blew my eardrums out because I wasn't even ready. And he's got a 270, and he shot that cow and just dropped her in one shot. So it was pretty incredible. While we were doing all that belly crawling, we had dropped our backpacks up at the top, so I had to hike back and get our backpacks, and I gave him a minute to make some phone calls and tell everybody what just happened.
Yeah. Was that his first time?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty exciting. I'm sure everybody for, 10 miles could hear me. Like, when that elk went down, I was just up there, having a celebration. And he was up there, trembling, kind of in shock that all this had just happened. So it was awesome. It was a great memory. And And that was all by, I think he shot that elk around noon.
What was that hit? Was that his first elk?
That was his first elk, yeah.
Oh, awesome. How exciting. That's good for both of you.
Yeah, and we're still eating on it. And it became really apparent how good it was to have game meat here over the last few weeks.
No kidding, right? Yeah. I think that story is phenomenal, but the pack out is another story within itself, right?
So we spent half the day shooting the elk, and then we spent every bit of the rest of the day until after dark getting that elk out, and that was nuts. I called a few people to see if they were around, and everybody was working, on a Saturday.
Yeah, right.
But I had thrown a sled in the back of the truck just in case. I guess I had high expectations we were going to see something. I threw the sled in the back of the truck, and after we had gutted that elk out, I called a buddy that lives out there, and he gave me the phone number for the guy that owns that particular piece of land. So I called the landowner, and he was actually out and about with his dad trying to find cows. And he told me I could go ahead and drive in behind the house, so we didn't have to take the elk over the top, which was a lifesaver. If we had to go to the top, we would have been quartering it out, we would have been packing it up piece by piece, and then loading it in the sled and taking it down. But he let me drive in behind the house, and it was a snowed in, drifted over road, but there was a road back there, and we were able to drive all the way down below the elk, but that elk was still way the hell up on this mountain. So we drove in there and then hiked back up with the sled, and it was just a miserable hike. I didn't want to do it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cold, we were tired, and when it's that cold, small hikes are like, it's a big deal. You're all bundled up and you're just defeated. But we got all the way up there, and I went light. I didn't even bring my backpack, and nor did I bring a knife or rope or anything. We got up there, and I got the sled and this full elk laying there, and we managed to roll her into the sled, but we didn't have any rope, so to keep her head from falling out the side, we took my son's vest, and I cut it into strips, and I tied some of the vest around the jaw and the head, and pulled that back into the sled and tied it to a leg, and I tied a couple legs together just to try to condense her down into the sled. And it's a big sled, but it's still, an elk is bigger.
Yeah,
sure. So it's the two of us. We've got this 1.5 foot snow, and it's on a pretty steep side hill, and the best route would have been to go straight down, but it goes right down into this nasty, timber filled and dead tree fallen coulee. So if we would have gone in there, I don't think we would have ever gotten out. So we had to side hill with this cow for about a quarter mile, and to do it without her rolling out of the sled, my son was holding on to one leg, just holding on to it, holding her down while I was dragging. And in that deep powder, the sled doesn't slide real great.
Yeah.
So it probably took us an hour or so to just get that quarter mile. And it was just, going 10, 15 feet at a time. And then I'd have to regroup. And we didn't have water. We went up there light, thinking we just go load her up and drag her over and let her go downhill. And we're up there eating snow. And there was a lot of mistakes I made there just by being complacent and thinking it was going to be easy. But we got to where we could aim it down at that road, and I turned the sled around so the square part of the sled was aiming downhill, thinking that would keep it at a reasonable pace. And I just got behind it and started walking it down, and that worked for a while. And then it started speeding up, so I was just leaning back, and it started speeding up some more. So then I sat down and I dug my heels in the ground, and I was able to just kind of putt along there for a little bit. Well, then it just kept getting faster and faster, and I don't know what's underneath this snow, and I didn't want to break my tailbone or something.
Right.
So, I try to steer it so I know that it's going to go the right way. And then finally, I'm probably doing 5 miles an hour sitting down. I let go. And that thing, it just turned into a snow. It was just like a snow blowing everywhere. You couldn't even see the sled anymore. and it was going right where it was supposed to, and right where it was supposed to, and then it veered off to the right and dove right into that coulee that we were trying to avoid.
Oh my God.
And it was going fast. So when before we loaded her, we had cut the tenderloins out and shoved them up in the rib cage just so they wouldn't be frozen solid when we got home, because I knew that elk was going to be frozen solid by the time we got home. And we caught up with her after I had let her go. My sled's broken. She's out of the sled. And she had gone off a little cliff, just a little cliff, maybe a foot, and piled up into a ledge going up the other way. And she had hit with such an impact, like I said, it broke my sled, and it broke all but like one rib. It broke the hip, and it broke all the ribs on one side except for like the very top rib when she had impacted that hillside. Like it was pretty violent. So we're trying to roll her back into what we have on the sled, and we're missing both tenderloins. So we're out there digging in the snow. We found one, and there's one. I guess the coyotes ate well. We dug everywhere, and we could not find one tenderloin, which is very unfortunate because that's one of the best cuts of meat on now.
For sure.
We decided to cut our losses, and we drug her back out, and then we got her to the truck, and well, it was me and my 12-year-old son trying to load a lead cow whole by ourselves in the bed of my power wagon, which the tailgate's it's pretty high.
Yeah.
So we had to get pretty creative, and all I had was a couple ratchet straps in the back of the truck, which is another thing. I learned a lot of lessons hunting with him, because I solo hunt a lot, and if I'm to bring an outback, I'm going to need some kind of mechanical means to help me, and I come along in the back of the truck would have made all the difference in the world. But we have little 1-inch ratchet straps. We're clicking it up there just a 1/4 inch at a time on each side, and then we get another strap on there so we could bust that one loose after we had, with a ratchet strap you can only go maybe 6 inches before you're maxed out.
Right. Yeah, they're not the best thing ever.
So, man, we finally got that thing loaded up. I don't know if you saw the Insta story. I was defeated. By the time we were driving back, it took everything I had not to fall asleep just driving home, and we were only a half hour from my house. But it was good memories. We both slept in the next day and took it easy, but I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. I learned a lot. Stupid mistakes we made. I mean, everything worked out for the overall big picture, according to plan.
Yeah, you brought the elk home, right? It's just, you got it there.
Yeah, but all the little things that went into it that shouldn't have ever gone into it, I don't know. It was silly. That's a good word for it. It was just silly.
So obviously we got your takeaways and what you learned, but what did your son take away from that?
He learned some bad words that he shouldn't repeat.
Yeah.
But it was a great lesson for him as far as the shot placement, making sure it's one of the 4 golden rules that you learn when you're a child. Mm-hmm. It was just a quick refresher for him how you need your brain, and you need to fall back on what even when your adrenaline's out of control. So it's the same way with archery. When you're drawn back on something, it is so hard to think about the steps for taking a shot, right? I mean, a lot of people just draw back and just, heck, I've heard people shoot without even looking through their peep.
I've heard of that too, and it's almost crazy to think about, but you can see how it can happen too when you're in the moment. If you don't have a good routine, right, where you breathe and you execute, and you put all that routine together, I could certainly see how somebody could be way off when they were trying to shoot.
So it was a good lesson for him just for that, to use your mind when stuff's super exciting, but then it was a really good lesson for hard work. And he was there. He did hit a wall after we shot the elk. That hike out, getting back to the truck was pretty difficult. Before we even went back up to get the elk, he was crashing and burning there, and it was hard work. It was a brutal hike for me, and I'm a billy goat. That's what I live for. And my legs are 30% longer than his legs. So it was a great lesson and it wasn't given to him. He earned every bit of that hunt. Like, he hiked his ass off. He worked his ass off. We got up there and we got into some nasty stuff. It was some of the most rugged country I'd probably hiked this year. It was probably the second most rugged hike I'd been on, but definitely the first most miserable hike I'd been on due to the cold. But he just kept going. He's a little machine, and I know he will be a better hunter than I am someday, just because, like, I'm starting him off like so young. We're starting him off so young to just do all this stuff. Got a visitor.
And that's the next one coming up that's going to be a hunter, right?
Yep, yeah, that'll be our little lady hunter. You want to say hi? Okay, you got to take off.
So is he excited for this coming year? Is he excited for this year's season?
Yep, yeah, and so he actually did bow hunter safety as well. He really wants to bow hunt. Last year he was only drawing about 30 to 31 pounds on his bow, so as far as ethics go, I won't let him hunt elk or deer, any big game, until he's pulling 45.
Yeah.
And that's actually a law in a lot of states. Montana doesn't have a minimum draw weight, and I wish they would. I wish, we've got a maximum let-off allowance that's in law, but they don't have a minimum draw weight. I wish they would actually do something like that, because, I mean, even at 45 pounds, if your shot's not perfect, you're going to wound something that's going to run off. I mean, I'm at 70, I'm 72, 73 pounds draw weight on mine, and, I could still have potential to really screw something up. I think it's just, that's something that should be a thing everywhere, kind of a standard.
Well, I think it's good that there's guys like you that teach it to their kids when they come up too, and so that's always going to be something that's instilled in his mind. Hopefully, there's a lot more people like you that are telling their kids, like, look, I know you really want to hunt this year, but you just don't. It's not there for you this year.
Yeah.
Or put them on a rifle for that first couple of years until they get stronger, so at least there's education and get them out in the field. But
yeah, that's right. He does come. Bow hunting season's during football season, so when he can, he's out there. It's usually maybe on a Sunday. If he's got a long weekend, I'll get him out there on a Friday. But that's when I hunt the most, is during archery season, and it sucks. I don't want him to quit sports at all. I really love watching him play football, but it's just kind of bad timing for everything. So he has been working really hard. We got his bow up to, we're just about at 40 pounds. Every time he shoots it, I just I crank it up like a half turn. And if he doesn't really know what I'm doing or how much I'm doing, I think a full turn is like 3 pounds. So every time I make a little adjustment, he doesn't really feel it. And now, I've had to completely move his sight, because even when I had it at the top end of his top pin at the top end of the sight, he's still shooting high. So I've had to completely move his sight because his arrows are moving faster. The penetration's getting a lot better on the target, and it's good to see improvement there. And he's grouping a lot better. I thought he was having an issue with his anchor, so we were really working on that. He was just shooting all over the place, and so finally I took his bow and I was really looking at his bow, and it ended up being his sight. He was anchoring, he was shooting just fine, but his sight had just a tiny wiggle to it. So that tiny wiggle was allowing his arrows to just shoot. Oh, man, he was missing the target. He was getting frustrated. He was putting arrows in the side of trees and all sorts of stuff. But now he's doing real solid. So I look forward to that. I don't know if he'll be able to bow hunt this year. We've still got quite a bit of time to get him up there. I think we'll be at 45 pounds. So I'd like to get him carrying a bow this year, but he's very much looking forward to that.
Good. Yeah. Well, hey, man, we're coming up. We're at about an hour. We're about 50 minutes, and I want to come back around to Dark Mountain, talk about what Dark Mountain offers as far as supplements go, and then definitely want to talk about your individual packaged pre-workouts because those things are killer when you're in that story that you just told about that pack out. I probably could have had about 4 of those during that time, I think so. But yeah, let's talk about Dark Mountain and what you guys offer.
Okay, so our niche is the outdoor athlete. That's our main focus, is just trying to help people, mainly people that are going to be out hunting or hiking, backpacking, etc. The outdoor stuff. It does also work in the gym. I use our pre-workout in the gym every time I work out as well, as in the field. Our pre-workout has kind of it kicks pretty fast, but it's not like we had talked about that methamphetamine pre-workout before. Ours will give you a little tingle. It doesn't melt your face off, but it lasts, and that's the best part. It's kind of got a delayed release there, and it's not hitting you all at once in the beginning, so you're not getting that big crash. So that's where we can really use that in the field. If I'm going to go hike a mountain, like while I'm standing at the base of the mountain, I can be looking up and give me a second here. Just happen to have some of these nearby.
Yeah, they're not hard to come by around here either. I can probably grab about what's that jug that it comes in? I've got one sitting over there ready for this year. So, I don't recommend this. We don't recommend this, but I just do this without mixing it. I'd keep a little water bottle handy with maybe 8 ounces of water in it, mix it before your hike. But when I'm looking up a steep mountain, and there's no fueling up there, and I want to move fast, I'll grab a sip of water out of my water bottle and my hydration bladder or whatever, and I'll just toss one of these down right there on the mountain. Yeah. And I'm good, man. I'm like a machine. I feel like I could probably still perform pretty well without it, but like this just gives that extra bit of energy on top of it. It's not giving me like more muscle or anything like that. I mean, my body's still my body, but that's just giving me more drive just to help out. And that's the whole point of supplementation, just to help out what you've got going on. So we've got pre-workout, we've got post-workout, we've got a pretty good selection of proteins, different levels of proteins. We've got our basic whey protein, which is it's just basic whey, and that's our most budget-friendly protein. That's kind of what we're going to steer everybody to if they're looking for, I don't want to say the cheaper route, but the more inexpensive route. I like to use the pure isolate. That's our most filtered protein. It's pretty good for folks that might have like a lactose intolerance or their guts get screwed up by regular whey protein. That pure isolate is filtered enough that the lactose is very low, and it's delicious. And I know, like... Is that the caramel one that you guys have? Chocolate caramel?
Yeah, we've got a chocolate caramel, and then we've got the cinnamon crunch.
Yeah, I've had the chocolate caramel. Man, that is good.
And the cinnamon crunch is my favorite. That was one that we just pushed that out here, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, and it's delicious. It's just like cereal water, or cereal milk. And then our post-workout, that's another thing that we take a lot of pride in. It's got the BCA blend. It's got electrolytes. It's just a good, really good flavor. I only put 1 scoop in a 32-ounce bottle, and it has enough flavor that, I mean, it still tastes really good. It's when I first started taking it, I'd never taken a post-workout before that. So, like working legs, I'd end up with, really sore quads, glutes, your butt hurts. It hurts to walk upstairs. It hurts to get out of bed. If you sit down on the toilet, it hurts to get off the toilet. Mm-hmm. I started taking that post-workout. I'm not going to say it's like magical or anything like that, but it greatly reduced all those aches and pains I get from like a heavy leg day. So it's worth its weight in gold as far as I'm concerned. But
I think it's awesome when you get home from hiking hard and you're back to camp, you're out hunting, and you put 10 miles on the mountain in. I would drink that every night before I would go to bed, and I would wake up with feeling way better. No cramps, no sore muscles, no anything. And well, I mean, they're still tender, but it certainly helps to to get you going that next morning?
So I tend to use mine like during workouts, and then through the end of the workout, and then post workout. It's designed to be a post workout drink, but I like to drink it the whole time. I think it's just feeding the muscles the electrolytes, and it helps with it definitely helps with muscle soreness. We're working on several new products. We have it won't be out before this YouTube's up, but our next main focus, we're going to have our own creatine, and that's something I really like creatine. You know, it helps with growth. I'm not like a huge on being like some meathead steroid freak looking guy, but I like muscles. So creatine's like one of the oldest supplements. I've studied supplements out there, so we're working on our own batch of creatine. We're really close, actually. We're finalizing the labeling for it, so we'll have that out here. It'll be soon. I can't give a definitive date, but it'll be soon. So that'll help with the kind of tying the whole stack together. And then we're working behind the scenes on a lot of, which right now it's unfortunate we didn't have them already, but some like nootropic blends, and then the immunity and multivitamin type stuff. That's something else we're working on. Kind of missed the mark on probably the peak of getting that out there, but it's still something that I take a multivitamin every day.
Right.
I figure I should probably be taking a multivitamin that comes from our company. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's great. And that'll be soon. Multivitamin.
What's that? I lost you.
Yeah, sorry. The multivitamin, that'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, we'll have all this stuff kind of rolling out here. Hopefully, once we get kind of the label work done, we'll see. I'd like to see maybe a couple weeks in between supplements, or maybe a month. Roll them out 1 month at a time. There'll be big product, announcements when that comes. So I'm excited. I'm excited to add to the line and then offer more to everybody that's already using it. I don't feel a bit bad when somebody else is using somebody else's creatine, because we don't even offer that.
Yeah,
so
right.
It'll be nice to get our inventory to where it's a one-stop shop, and everything somebody might want is there without completely overloading them with a bunch of stuff they don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
and you guys offer quite a bit.
I've seen different sites and everything where a company has absolutely everything, and you start to look and like you're lost, don't even know where to begin, and we don't want to get to quite to that point where we're driving people away because it's so overwhelming to see what we got going on. But
exactly, and that's the way it is right now. It's streamlined. It's good. You have stacks, so you can buy individual products. You have some aftermarket stuff like shaker bottles and whatnot. Shirts, hats, obviously. You've got some apparel stuff that you guys sell too. So there's a lot of good stuff going on with Dark Mountain. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the future with it. Definitely. Can't wait to see it grow.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. It's introduced me to a lot of people. I mean, the company itself introduced me to Kyle, who then introduced me to you, and I mean, there's been a whole lot of different chains that have started that way, with a lot of folks that I've met that I never would have met without this opportunity. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the way this whole podcast thing has been for me too. There's no way I would be talking to any of the people, talking to yourself or any of the people that I get the opportunity to talk with. And it's amazing how the networking can take place within the hunting community. I think there's some communities out there where people aren't willing to share and they're not willing to open themselves up. But the hunting community is, people aren't willing to share waypoints, but they're willing to share advice, right? And they're willing to just be a part of and bring new people in to be a part of it. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Overall, it's a pretty good community. I think there's some rotten apples out there, but
there always will be. But
as long as you stay away from like the Insta famous ones and
and stuff like that aren't actually true outdoorsmen, then I think you're all right. There's a lot of really hard workers that go unrecognized out there that are worth a lot more than somebody with 200,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we'll wrap it up, man. What's your contact information? And Instagram, YouTube, if you have a YouTube, because now we're going to try to make this a thing. So how do people find Dark Mountain, and how do people find you?
All right, so we got our website, darkmountain.com, pretty simple. We've got our Instagram, darkmountain_official on Instagram. We've got Dark Mountain. There's a few of them out there. They're actually all ours, but there's only one that we use, and it's Dark Mountain with a space in it, Dark Mountain Official on the Facebook. There's a couple where they're run together, and I really just need to end all those other pages. We had a kind of a mess there as far as like creating the business accounts.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find me on Instagram at Dude That Hunts. That's my personal Instagram, and you'll see Dark Mountain and Dude That Hunts we weave into each other quite a bit. But I have my own personality over here, and Dark Mountain, we've got our personality over there. I'm trying to word this right. I like to have a really good time all the time, and I like to really push that out, like on the Dark Mountain side too. Like I like to have fun. I like to screw around. But sometimes, like the shenanigans I'm into over here on like the Do The Hunts page are not going to end up over here on the Dark Mountain page.
Yeah, right.
And it's not because it's inappropriate; it's because it's just me, my personal stuff. We're having a good time doing this and that, and it doesn't need to be over here on like a business page. We do a lot of highlighting of our athletes over on the Dark Mountain page, so like if you give us a follow over there, you'll kind of see like who we have that we're working with. I mean, we had mentioned Steven earlier. He's just a beast, and we try to highlight him. Well, he gets highlighted quite a bit because he's always, he's tagging us and everything. He's always just pushing and paying dues.
Yeah.
So we've got athletes. If we can, we'll just dive into the pro staff side of things real quick.
Yeah, of course.
We've got athletes from all over the country, and then we've got one or two in Australia. We've got some in Canada. That's kind of where we limit our shipping. We've got Canada, America, and Australia. If we open the shipping up worldwide, we start getting you get those emails from like a Saudi prince saying, "Give me your bank account, I'll put $300,000 in there."
Mm-hmm.
We'll actually get
nice
orders. We'll get like fake orders and I don't know how they try to push that money through, but they'll order like $3,000 in product, and it'll be the same thing. It's some fake deal from Iraq or Kyrgyzstan or some weird thing. So we kind of got our sales limited. Now, if this podcast reaches somebody in some random country and they want to give it a try, I mean, reach out to us, and we will open up that country for shipping. We actually just shipped a big care package to Kuwait to one of our athletes. He's deployed there, so we opened up shipping to Kuwait.
I guess they would just contact you, huh? Like send you an email through the website or through Instagram and say, hey, look, I'd like to get some stuff.
There's a contact us tab right there on the website, or you can message us on any of our social media platforms. When you message us, we don't have anybody else like running social media or running anything. If you message, you're going to get a message back from myself or my partner Christian. Like that's where we're at. Like you're always going to be talking to the owner. As we grow, there might be more positions added to the company. There will be more positions added to the company as we grow. But whoever takes over that position is going to be somebody that's very involved with the company. You're never going to get Fred over here just replying to your email with some super generic email. You're going to always get somebody that's very involved. And at this point, like I said, it's just me and Christian replying everything. And we're just we try to be real personal and involved with all operations. I think that customer service goes a long way. Some of these other companies, and I won't mention any names or any companies because it's not just in this industry, but as companies grow, they lose touch with the important things, and that's where you'll start getting these generic Freds and Franks and whoever helping out doing this, and it has like no personal touch from the company itself. And we will make sure, no matter what level we're at, we're still gonna be taken care of, and acknowledging like people that matter and everything that matters. Like every order to us is like a huge, like it's like a humble blessing, because it's somebody that's actually trusting us to give them something that's going to help them perform better. So like we don't take any orders lightly. It's a big deal anytime somebody orders, and we just want to keep that feel to it no matter what.
Yeah, I like it. Well, hey,
so
man.
I think that covers all the contact. I'm not going to give everybody my phone number, but
no,
I guess everybody that's on here, I'm sure you can put notes down here below somewhere on the YouTube or
somewhere in the YouTube. We'll get that done.
Notes, but you can put your discounts, so any one of your followers can get 20% off everything on the store. And that's an unlimited discount. So
yeah, and that's Rookies. Just the word Rookies. All I can't remember. I think it's all caps. Yeah, 20% off anything in the store, and that's good all the time, right? It's not just first purchase or anything; it's always 20% off. So, I encourage people to use it. Definitely. Yeah, I like their stuff. One product I wanted to touch on really quick was the grass-fed whey protein. I really like that one, and one thing I like about it is that it's the sweetener in it is stevia. If I remember right, I think that's what I like, and it wasn't sucralose or anything like that, and it uses stevia, and man, it's tasty stuff. I really like that one. So very good. And of course I like that pre-workout. That stuff's good. Right on, dude. I appreciate you coming on here, and this will be one of the first Skype YouTube podcasts that we release on the YouTube channel. And well, hey, dude, awesome. I appreciate your time, man, and have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You do the same.
Will do. Out of here.
All right.
Bye.